Welcome back. In conversation still with President Cyril Ramaphosa spokesperson Khusela Diko. Now, Khusela, before the break we were talking about SARS, Tom Moyane. I want to talk about the NPA and the position of the NDPP, the National Director of Public Prosecutions. Now, also, during his State of the Nation address, the President said that this was a matter that he would be paying urgent attention to. So where are we now? How long before that position is filled?
Well, the President will be meeting the deadline that he had been given by the court of 90 days since the judgment was handed down. That 90 days is due to end in the middle of December because we calculated court days, not calendar days. What the President has done, though, is that while the Constitution gives him the prerogative to appoint the National Director of Public Prosecutions, he's taken a decision that we need transparency and a level of accountability in terms of how the head of the prosecuting authority is appointed. So he's invited a number of organizations to form part of a panel that will assist him identify, select and interview those candidates. This panel will be chaired by Minister Khadebe, as a former Minister of Justice, and the President will then take a decision following their recommendations in consultation or after consultation with Minister Michael Masuta.
And moving straight along, because as I say, there's so many things that I want to touch base on. And now, focusing on the Special Investigating Unit. Now, again here, the President requested updates on, again, a whole lot of cases that they were working on. If you could just maybe summarize and give us a sense, because what I'm getting at here is the SIU, we understand, could have recovered as much as 299 million rand in the financial year 2017-2018. However, they only recovered 34 million. So what's happening with the SIU?
Well, Sakina, all of this is part of a process to strengthen law enforcement. I mean, the President has come out very clearly that this government is going to be cleaning up our administration, will be following up on cases. We ensure that there's accountability and consequence management for those who do wrong. So all the work, the reports that the SIU has completed since 2002, when they started their work, up until 2016, the President has pulled out all those reports and he sent them back to the entities. So it'll be reports sent back to accounting officers, it'll be reports that are sent to the relevant ministers in the case of SOEs. And he has then requested an update in terms of the recommendations that have been made by the SIU, whether those were for disciplinary action, whether those for criminal litigation processes to ensue, and he wants to know how far we have gone in implementing it. So it's part and parcel of strengthening the work that we're doing around fighting crime and corruption within our institutions. And we're expecting that those entities, as well as the ministers, will cooperate with this particular initiative to get this right.
Khusela, there's so much more that I want to ask you, but unfortunately we don't have time. We actually need to make time to speak more discursively about many of these issues. But as it stands right now, one of the main issues that South Africans are seized with is, of course, unemployment, the economy, and all the attendant issues around that. The President spoke of actually getting investment of $100 billion. Where are we with regard to that?
Well, the $100 billion investment drive that the President spoke about is part and parcel of a broader economic recovery plan that the President has. He says we must look at ensuring that we're able to attract investment-led trade into our country. So these investments are not gifts, that are coming into the investment, but we're trading with our partners both within the country as well as globally in order to grow our economy and create the much needed jobs. So there's been a number of initiatives that have happened since the President announced this particular initiative, from the appointment of the envoys, the job summit that was held recently. In the next couple of weeks, we're going towards the investment summit, which again is bringing together investors from across the globe to look at opportunities to unlock investment in the South African economy. That is supposed to give further impetus to this drive that we're speaking about. It also precedes the Africa Investment Conference at the end of this year. So economic recovery, economic growth, job creation is at the center of President Ramaphosa's administration, and all the work that we are doing really is intended to do that. But you'll remember, Sakina, that he also announced recently the economic stimulus package, which spoke to a number of factors. But the one that I just want to speak to is also around education and health, because those are also critical preconditions for us to be able to achieve some of the things that we want to do in the economy. Just today, the Health Summit is sitting, again looking at at the crisis within the health sector, whether it's as it links to human resources, whether it's issues of infrastructure. But Deputy President Mabuza will stand in for the president, and he's going to lead the government delegation in that health summit, moving us much closer to universal health coverage as one of, a whole basket of issues that we need to do around economic growth, around creating really this better life for our people that we speak about.
But the president knows there's been a lot of criticism around that particular stimulus package that he announced. But as I said, we need more time, and hopefully we'll get you back to speak about these issues at greater length. But thanks for stopping by this morning.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Sakina.
And that, of course, Khusela Diko, who is President Cyril Ramaphosa's spokesperson, just touching on some of the issues that are currently hogging the headlines in our country. And hopefully we'll get her back sooner rather than later to talk about more of these issues and perhaps at greater length. But for now, let's take a quick spot break.